The second round of the playoffs. That's Ted Johnson, three-time Super Bowl champ. I'm Howard Chen. This is the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show brought to you by TexanDrive.com and Teddy J. Something that I've been thinking of, something that you said last week, it doesn't get any easier from here as far as the playoffs as we go round by round.
Yeah, you get to this point here. The better teams obviously are at this point, the best coaching, the best players, the best everything. So this is where legacies are made and dreams are crushed at this point. So don't be that guy to send your team home. A lot of great plays tonight, a lot of good action tonight, Howard.
Let's get to the brackets for Class 6A and Division II, Region 3. A lot of sexy teams in here. Katy and Cy Ranch. You have Dawson, Friendswood, Cy Creek, Strake Jesuit, and Manville Clear Creek. We'll be seeing all those highlights in this show in this hour. But first, we start off with our TexanDrive.com Game of the Week. Katy against Cy Ranch, a battle of state finalists from a year ago. And the Tigers, of course, they're unbeaten. They've only given up 18 points all year long tonight.
All year long.
All year long, that is correct. The comeback of Kyle Porter and the offensive line clearing room for him. Wide open space. Really easy touchdown for him. Points to the air. Welcome back, Kyle Porter, for 6. There he goes. Makes it 7-0 Katy. But Cy Ranch, they found a way to score, which was an accomplishment in itself. Colin Rock, the future SMU Mustang, to R.J. Sneed. 17 yards for the score. That would make it 13-10 for Cy Ranch. They had the lead, but in the second quarter, this is DeAndre Glass. It's not just Kyle Porter. This true freshman has been stepping up all season long. When Porter went down, this guy stepped up. Glass with the touchdown that made it 17-13. Still a good ball game. Tigers on top, though, and then right before the half, this really changed momentum quite a bit. Trick play from Katy. They're not just conservative. Garrett Dwyron.
Don't blitz, Cy Ranch. What are you thinking?
The hook and ladder. What a play. What a setup. And that goes all the way for the score. J.C. Blades, the recipient. Katy up 24-13. Now for Cy Ranch, they ended up scoring 20 points in this one, but just too much Katy as the Tigers eventually overwhelmed Cy Ranch. The touchdown pass up top, wide open for the score. Final score of this one, Tigers get it done, 59-20. The 20 points scored by the Mustangs, more than any opponent combined on the season for the Tigers. 59-20, Katy moves on. So these Katy Tigers, I mean, that defense, when you think about it, before this game, only 18 points total given up on the season.
That defense is incredible. That might be the best defense Katy's ever had. But that play right before half, Howard, I mean, it was a killer for Cy Ranch. Cy Ranch blitzed. All you got to do is get back. I mean, they rushed 5 guys. When you're really just supposed to get back, make sure you protect the end zone. Cy Ranch doesn't. They gambled. They blitzed on that play. And Katy Tigers made him pay big time with El Hook and Ladder, man. That was a nice execution play.
Ted Johnson, he knows his defense. That play was huge, but it has to say something for Cy Ranch. They were in that game. They actually had the lead at one point.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they had it going into the second quarter. Man, they had them right where they wanted to, and they let it get away. When you let Katy get easy scores like that, forget about it. Katy had a 4-point lead at halftime. And honestly, they might as well have had a 21-point lead at that point because Katy always takes over in the second half.
Well, if you thought that game was exciting, how about Dawson Friendswood, huh?
Let me tell you about this. Dawson Eagles taking on Friendswood Mustangs. Guess what the reward is for winning this game? I get to play the Katy Tigers next week. Here you go. You got Dawson, Zach Smith. Hits Drake Rayner. Puts Dawson up 7-0. Nice little touchdown pass there again. Dawson's Zach Smith caught him sleeping. What are you doing, Friendswood? Hello, wake up, man. To Nico Thomas. Look how big that kid is. Nice play. They're up 14-0, Howard, at this point. But Friendswood, Tyler Page. Nice little quarterback keeper on that play. Making a lot of guys miss. Gets it to within 7 right there. And again, here we go. Dawson, Zach Smith. Hands it off to Savion Johnson. What a stud running back for Dawson right there. Takes it in, just blowing guys over there for a 21-7 lead. But here we go. Tyler Page, man, Mr. Do-It-All, another quarterback keeper right there. Gets him within 7 points, Howard. Oh, how's this game going to end, man? This is a barn burner right here.
Yes, it was.
Quarterback Zach Smith hits Caleb White. Nice little touchdown pass. Guess what? Guess what, Howard? It's not going to be enough for Dawson. Tyler Page gets them back in this game, takes it to overtime, and then ultimately Friendswood wins this game 49-42. This one goes to overtime. Tyler Page, the stud in the win for Friendswood in that game.
A lot of points scored in that game. You saw the final, 49-42, so you do the math. That's 91 points scored. That game taking place at Energy Stadium. If you're a high schooler playing in an NFL stadium, how much extra juice is there just going within you?
Are you kidding me? A lot. I mean, that's a huge, huge venue. What a beautiful stadium that is for them to get to experience playing football where the pros do. What a nice little taste of what it's like to be one of the big guys on the big stage.
2 straight big wins by Friendswood after their win last week over previously unbeaten Hightower. How about Manville? They're clearly one of the best teams in the area. Tough test against unbeaten Clear Creek. Who would come out ahead? Find out next on the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. Welcome back. The road to the UIL Football Championships leads to Energy Stadium here in Houston from December 17th through the 19th. You can get your tickets by logging on to Ticketmaster.com now, and you can watch all the games on the TV home of the UIL Football Championships, Fox Sports Southwest. And we are back on the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. That is 3-time Super Bowl champ Ted Johnson. I am Howard Chen. Ted Johnson, by the way, also a defensive specialist, as evidenced by the previous segment. But defense not really in the cards for Manville and Clear Creek. A lot of offense in this one. Manville, really good team, but Clear Creek, they are unbeaten and perfect. They had that big win over Dickinson earlier in the season. This was our Big Star Forward game of the week, and a lot of highlights to be had, especially from this guy here, Ole Miss commit Devon Penniman. 76-yard run. He was just getting started. Mavericks up 14-0. Penniman scored 5 touchdowns tonight. Okay, 14-7 later on as De'Ara King looking and finding Eric Bennett. What a grab. Looks like a one-hander there. 16 yards for the score, makes it 21-7, but Clear Creek far from being done. They kept on fighting and fighting back. Chase Hildreth, this guy has an arm, but there's some trickeration here, and it's actually Landon Etzel to the quarterback, Chase Hildreth. The 5-yard score cuts the lead to 21-14. Manville, they didn't stop scoring though. The handoff to Chamar Abair makes it 42-21 in the third quarter. More from the second half, now 42-21. The pass to Andrew Wisen. He breaks free for the score that makes it 42-28. This game was back and forth and back and forth. It jockeyed. It was basically a one-score game all the way throughout. Manville kind of iced it late with a defensive pick 6, and they pulled away very late in the game. Final score 70-49. They get the win. Here is Kirk Martin, the winning coach, or we do not have that. We move on to Cy Creek.
All right, here we go, Howard. We got Cy Creek taking on Strake Jesuit. Strake Jesuit, I tell you what, you talk about a player in Zach Zubia. Get used to this kid. Passes the ball off to Christian Mastrick for a 72-yard pass. That hands off. He throws the ball to Christian Mastrick for a 17-yard pass there. Zubia again to Christian Charbonnet. A 21-yard TD pass right there. They go up 14 zip over Cy Creek again. Same combination. Zubia to Charbonnet. 39-yard touchdown pass. This is like triple coverage right there, man. It doesn't matter. Then Zubia, he's just going to hand the ball off right here. Oh, excuse me. No, play action pass to Brady McConney. Puts Strake Jesuit up big time there. Strake takes this one 44-28. This is the farthest Strake has ever advanced in the playoffs. So congratulations to Strake Jesuit in this game.
Big win by Strake Jesuit. And right now, do we have Corey Repkin with us? Or not? Do we have?
Yes, I'm here.
There we go. Yeah.
Do we have Corey Repkin? Yes. All right, so we are joined right now by Corey Repkin. He was covering the Manville game for the Houston Chronicle. And Corey, first off, I mean, that was a track meet right there. Your opening thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like I shouldn't be talking to you guys and keep doing the stats. I mean, there were so many to keep up with. It was insane. I mean, every time you thought Manville had a lead, Clear Creek would come right back, even right down in the last couple of minutes. But, I mean, you know, it was 2 great offenses going up, and they would score some points, but you'd never think they'd score 18 touchdowns.
Hey, Corey, let's look ahead to the next week's game. You got Manville taking on Strake Jesuit. Jake Jesuit wins this one. Quarterback Zach Zuby is a stud, beating Cy Creek. How do you think this next game factors with Manville taking on Strake Jesuit?
I don't see anybody stopping Manville, except for maybe Katy in the next round if they get there. I mean, there's just so many good players who play for Manville. I mean, they're Division I kids too. It's, you know, the Clear Creek coach Darrell Warden said after the game, you know, how do you guard all of them? It's like you're having to guard 12 guys, and you just don't know who to guard. I mean, they tried to let the Eric King have all the time to pass, and then he let to go out to run if everyone was covered. So it's just insane how good offense this Manville team has, and I don't see Drake hanging with them.
Well, like you said, Corey, Manville, maybe the only team that can stop them would be Katy. What do you think Katy does so well that can really stop them? Because the Tigers stopped them 2 years running.
Well, hey, I mean, Katy has the tradition of the program. They're tough. They're gritty. They play defense. I mean, heck, they'd only given up, 18 points all season until tonight. I know Cypress ran strapped to them, but I think you saw something out of Katy when, I mean, they got knocked down a little bit with their defense, but they came right back with their offense and scored way more than they needed to. So I think if Katy needed anything to be sure that Katy was going to be in there for a fight when they had a tough one, I think you got it tonight. And, I mean, third time they say it's a charm with Manville and Katy, but I don't know. I mean, that defense for Katy is pretty good.
Well, Manville can certainly put up points. 70 points tonight. That's Corey Repkin from the Houston Chronicle covering the Manville game. Corey, thank you so much for joining us. And right now, joining us, our third member of the broadcast team, Courtney Madden, and I'm guessing the Twitter world was abuzz.
Oh, yes. So many things going on all around Texas that were so exciting. So we kind of grabbed tweets from all over. Let's take a look at them. KAGS Collins said, give A&M Consolidated's Coy Winder credit for 1 sack and 2 tackles for loss. Not bad. Ryan Osborne said Geyer rushed for 315 yards against Carroll in the first half. TCU commit Sean Robinson has 122 of those. Rip Sports said touchdown Manville. Devon Penniman scores on an 18-yard run. That's his 3rd rushing touchdown tonight. And Matt Wixon said, I'm at AT&T Stadium for Denton Ryan versus South Grand Prairie. Early 5:30 start, so best wishes to the brave traffic fighters out there.
Yeah, no, that tweet about Devon Penniman, that was from Corey Repkin, and he said that at that time that was his 3rd touchdown. And the thing is, he was just getting started.
He had, I think, 300 total yards offense, 275 yards on the ground. What a beast that kid is.
Yeah, that Manville offense, extremely tough. Another extremely tough team, Atascocita. They had a tough test last week. They kind of squeaked by. How would they do this week against Cedar Ridge? Find out when we come back on the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. Welcome back. This past week, the 4 high school finalists for the Lombardi Award were announced. Westfield's Ed Oliver, Katy's Patty Fisher, Springs Bravion Roy, and Hightower's Clifton Lewis. Congratulations to them. The winner will be announced on December 9th. Remember, this award is brought to you by Fox Sports Southwest, and here is Ed Oliver. He was there.
It's amazing. My teammate last year won it, so I'm just trying to follow in his footsteps, do my best. Maybe I might be able to take it home this year.
And of course, Ed Oliver, a future University of Houston Cougar. You've seen him. You love him.
I love the way that kid plays, Howard. I mean, you talk about with energy, he doesn't stop, a guy at high motor, and the explosiveness. He's got it all. That kid's got it all. He's one of the best, and there's a reason he's one of the best. So the Cougs got a really good one. Coach Tom Herman's got to be psyched to get him on his team. And
he's part of a very talented Westfield squad. And for more on that team, here's Courtney Madden.
Saturday on TexanLive.com, undefeated Lake Travis taking on 10-1 Westfield and possibly one of the biggest playoff matchups this weekend.
I just think it's going to be a great football game. You know, we haven't faced an overall team like them, and they probably haven't faced an overall team like us, so it's just going to be a war, and it's going to come down to field position, special teams, and turnovers. So our biggest things are going to be to protect the football, score in the red zone, and play great defense.
2 overall strong teams with highly touted players, but the Mustangs know what they need to do to make it past the second round.
Just really everyone doing their job. You know, it takes a team to win a game, and special teams, offensively and defensively, that's the only way you can really win a game. It's just everyone doing their job. What really makes this team special is they're very disciplined, and they use technique really well, and that's really what we'll have to go in trying to work against.
Aside from being prepared, the Mustangs feel confident in the team's overall performance that's gotten them to this point.
We perform better than people have expected us to. We really come together as a team and bonded as brothers and played up to our potential.
Our performance so far this season has been real good. We've been progressing every week, making big strides to become a better team.
And they've had a good time along the way.
The energy, the practice level, it's just fun being here.
Be sure to catch live action on TexanLive.com tomorrow as Westfield takes on Lake Travis and Round Rock. Kickoff set for 2 p.m.
All right, thank you very much, Courtney. We check out 6A Division II, the brackets, and local teams on there. You see Spring, you see Westfield, just like we previewed. That should be a good one.
Oh, here we go. Howard, we got Dallas Jesuit Rangers. Ooh, losing this one to Rockwall Yellow Jackets, Spring Lions, taking care of business over Pflugerville Hendricks Hawks right there, Howard.
More brackets from 6A Division I Region 2, checking out local teams here, Cedar Ridge, Atascocita, and the Woodlands, and we're going to talk about Atascocita right now. Here are the highlights from tonight's game. The Eagles against the Raiders of Cedar Ridge. Atascocita, of course, coming off a close win over Klein Collins last week, 32-27. We first show the Raiders. Austin Waka of the QB sneak right up the middle. Makes it 8-0 after the 2-point conversion, but Atascocita, they have a good quarterback of their own. We've mentioned this guy's name like a million times already all season. Davion Boyd, he hands off to your boy, Patrick Taylor, because he's going to Colorado.
Oh, go Bobs, baby.
Yeah, he gets the touchdown, makes it 8-7, then it's Taylor again.
Oh, out of my way.
Exactly. Mr. Boff makes it 14-7. Cedar Ridge would come back. We had a lot of barn burner games. This was another one. Walk up to Eric Wade for 6 points. Makes it 22-14. Atascocita still up. Now 22-21 in the second quarter for Cedar Ridge. Walk up to C.J. Rittenhouse for the score, but
what a stiff arm that was.
Atascocita surviving another close call. This one 41-36. So either way, it doesn't matter if it's a blowout or if it's a close game. Atascocita getting the job done. They move on.
All right, here we go, Howard. We got Dow Skyline taking on Rolette tomorrow at Mesquite Memorial. North Mesquite versus Killeen Shoemaker tomorrow at 5:30, and then Austin Westlake versus the Woodlands, 3 p.m. at Bryan.
And speaking of the Woodlands, they've been one of the area's best teams, and some of the best teams have some of the best coaches, obviously.
Best defense. Man.
Yes, great defense. And the head coach over there, Mark Schmidt, and our Courtney Rowland spoke with him earlier this week.
Thanks, guys. Here with Coach Schmidt. Coach, a great season so far. 10-1, already in the playoffs. Beat a tough Klein Oak team last week. What was your message to the team after a very close game against a tough opponent like Klein Oak?
You know, I told the kids I was proud of them. You know, it was a big game. You know, that district over there, no matter who we face, is going to be, you know, a tough matchup. And Klein Oak got the better half of us in 2014, and so our kids were motivated, and you know they wanted to come back and get the win, and they did, and beat a very good football team, and that's what you have to do in the playoffs. You play good people, and you know we've got another good opponent this next week.
I know every coach's message throughout the entire season is one game at a time, one day at a time, but especially that's true in the playoffs because you just don't know your fate moving forward. You guys do know your fate. You've got Austin Westlake on Saturday in Bryan, 3 o'clock. What have you seen from Austin Westlake, a 10-1 record just like yourself?
They're a really good football team. You know, Coach Dodge, you know, he's one of the best coaches in the state of Texas. You know, his years at South Lake Carroll, I think he won 5 state titles there. You know, he's bringing that brand of football to Austin Westlake, and you know they've got a great quarterback. They play great defense. You know, it'll be another big test for us, and you know our kids are excited about the opportunity, and you know we're looking forward to a great game.
And speaking of quarterbacks, the Woodlands has a pretty good quarterback themselves. Your son. How much more pressure is it this year considering your son's on the team? I know it's pressure every year, but it's got to add a little extra juice.
It does. It adds a little juice, so to speak. You know, at the same time, I got to remember he's just like any other kid out there, and I've got to coach him the way I coach all the other kids. So you know, it was an unusual experience having to wear 2 different hats, one as a father and one as a coach. But you know, I think both of us, Eric and myself, we adjusted pretty well, and the more we did it, the easier it got. And you know, I'm proud of him and what he's been able to do. And you know, we're looking for great things this week too.
And that was the Woodlands head coach, Mark Schmidt. Courtney Rowland, thank you very much. And, you know, Coach Schmidt was talking about the first thing he told his team after the game, after their win last week, was that he was proud of them. And flash you back to when you were in high school. Whenever your coach told you that, what did that mean to you?
Well, it meant a lot, you know, and I had a coach that didn't give out a lot of praise either. So when he did, you You took that to heart. But I don't believe Coach Schmid when he says he treats his son just like any other player. There's no way that's the case. What a cool feeling that is for a dad to be able to coach your son and coach him as well as he is. He's playing outstanding for the Woodlands.
And the Woodlands should definitely be a tough out considering how well they've played, especially defensively.
Yeah, that defense is tough to beat. I mean, it's hard to move the ball on that defense. That's where they hang their hat is on defense. So that's what's going to get them through is that defense for the Woodlands.
Now another great team of the area, not only the Woodlands, but how about North Shore? When you think of battle-tested, you think North Shore. How would the Mustangs do? Find out next when we come back after this break. Welcome back to the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show brought to you by TexanDrive.com. There the brackets are for Class 6A Division I Region 3. Belair and Cy Falls, North Shore Clear Springs. Obviously a lot of localness on these brackets. We start off the highlights with North Shore and Clear Springs. There they are, the Mustangs. They've been battle-tested, haven't lost since their gauntlet to start the season. Speaking of starting the season, this is a rematch of their very first game when they beat Clear Springs 49-13, a game they dominated. In this game, Micaiah Long, he finds Tremaine Robbins for the 22-yard gain to the 13. That would set up Long for the QB sneak. This guy's an athlete. This guy's a player. He scores to make it 7-zip. Second quarter now, it's tied at 7. The jump ball to Ralph Davis. He corrals it in. 20-yard touchdown. Makes it 14-7. Still in the second. Same score. It's Long. He's just hard to stop. When you're that close in, man, it's really tough.
They got him at that quick count too, Howard.
Really hard. 21-7. Then for Clear Springs, here's a highlight for them. Dominic DeValentoni, 18-yard pass to Mike Gillespie. Makes it 28-14. Clear Springs put forth an effort, but North Shore too strong.
Ooh, look at that nice little play design
screen
right there,
to Robbins, 18-yard touchdown there. North Shore getting the job done, 52-14, so fairly similar to their game to start the season.
Some creative play calling right there, Howard. Here we go. We got Cy Falls versus Bel Air tomorrow at TDECU Stadium. Very cool. Eisenhower versus Lamar at Del Mar, and then you got Pearland versus Dickinson, 2 o'clock tomorrow at NRG Stadium.
Yeah, this North Shore team, we were talking about them all throughout the season. I mean, they were battle-tested, the tough 3-game stretch where they lost those 3 games, but ever since then, they've been just fine.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of lessons learned in losing. So you lose 3 games like that, hardens you up. You know, a lot of teams can go one way or the other. They can go in the corner sucking their thumbs, or they can do something about it, and North Shore's doing something about it.
They're definitely doing something about it. How about let's do something about the brackets, and let's check out Bracket 5A, Division II, Region 3 local teams here. We check out A&M Consolidated Magnolia. Crosby, second-ranked team in state, going against Ridgepoint. That should be a good one. College Station, North Forest, and Port Neches Groves, PNG against Angleton.
All right, here we go, Howard. A&M Consolidated Tigers taking on the Magnolia Bulldogs. Come on, Bulldogs, representing the North Side. Get used to hearing this name, quarterback Mason Hickson, Howard. Woo, nice little pass there to Cade Williams. Ooh, breaking tackle. Go ahead, guys. It's not a two-hand touch. It's actually tackle football right there. Nice little run there by Cade Williams. And then you have T.J. Rosinski to Jonathan Sylvester. Little 43-yard run right up the sideline right there. Putting up A&M Consolidated 21-0. Magnolia really never in this one at all, Howard. Mason Hickson to Robert Franklin. Ooh, little dump off there. Robert makes a nice little run out of that, putting up A&M 28-0 on that point. And then again, Mason Hickson to Cade Williams on the slant route. Needs some help from the inside linebacker right there. This was a blowout from Jump Street. 49-0. A&M puts it on the Magnolia Bulldogs. Quarterback Mason Hickson. Listen to this, Howard. 20 of 31, 284 yards, 3 touchdowns. What an impressive kid he is.
Big game for Hickson. All right, Sports Radio 610 scoreboards. We go in Class 5A, Division II, Region 3. College Station victorious over North Forest 52-7, and PNG going down to Angleton 48-30. And you know, one of the best teams in the area has been Dawson. They lost tonight to Friendswood in a crazy, crazy game, but we really just can't escape the fact that Eric Wells does a nice job with those Dawson Eagles, and that's why they are our Team of the Week, brought to you by Texan Live.
The Dawson Eagles beat LaPorte last week in the first round of playoffs. The Eagles' greatest performance came in the second half when they outscored the Bulldogs 27-0 for a 37-10 win. Now, moving into the second round of playoffs, the Eagles have the same motto, Team 8 to State.
Our team motto is Team 8 to State because we're the 8th football team to come through Dawson High School on a varsity level, and our goal is the state championship. I think we've really progressed over the season, and I feel like we've shocked a lot of those who doubted us through the season. I feel like we've perfected all the things that we have messed up in the beginning, but now that everything's good.
The Eagles entered the week 8-3, and those losses came against some of the toughest teams in the state. But the Eagles think it's only made them stronger.
You know, definitely when you're playing teams like Manville and Pearland and George Ranch, who's undefeated, Pearland's undefeated, you know, Manville's one of the top teams in the state. You know, it makes us better, you know, and the kids, they understand that. And there's been teams in the past that would, you know, kind of get down after a loss, but, you know, we lost to Pearland in overtime just on a missed extra point. We lost to, you know, Manville and had more yards on them than anybody this year. You know, it's just every game they're buying into what we're talking about. You know, a little thing here and there, and those games could have went either way.
Through wins and losses, the Eagles stick together as a family.
I think because, like, we've all played together since, like, 7th grade. And so this is like the closest any Dawson team has ever been. And we go through everything together. And it's like, we work out, we do usually it's like offense by itself and defense by itself, but this year it's everybody.
Aside from great team chemistry on and off the field, the Eagles know what it'll take to make a state championship.
Just really, we gotta put numbers on the board fast. We can't have a slump at first, then try to score. We gotta score as soon as we get the ball. And we're just trying to keep this family as tight as we can. That's all. That's what Coach Wells tells us. Just keep the mindset of us being as long as we want. And if we want it long enough, we'll go to state.
Congratulations to the Dawson Eagles for winning the Team of the Week, presented to you by Texan Live.
Now, obviously, Dawson, they were saying in that piece that their goal is the state championship, and they won't get there because they lost to Friendswood in a crazy game earlier tonight. But they're going to be back. I mean, their quarterback, Zach Smith, he'll be back next year. What can this experience of losing at this stage, not quite getting to the state championship round, what can that do for a team?
Well, you know, it's just like the players said, you know, these guys have been playing together for a long time, since 7th grade. So they've, you know what, look, they're going to have each other's backs. It's the most interdependent game there is. You got to rely on the guy next to you. That sounds like a family they got there at Dawson. They're going to be fine. The experience from these playoffs will serve them well in the future.
Congratulations to Dawson for being our Texan Live Team of the Week. If you missed the highlights, the crazy highlights, Dawson, Friendswood, and also the Katy game, that's coming up next. This is the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show brought to you by TexanDrive.com. And this is the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show brought to you by TexanDrive.com. My name is Howard Chen. He is three-time Super Bowl champ Ted Johnson. And the playoffs, this is the second round. Doesn't get any easier from here.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier, but how much fun is this right here? You put yourself in a position, you get to this point in the season, make some things happen. A lot of legacies are made and a lot of dreams are crushed at this point in the playoffs in the second round.
Class 6A, second round bracket. A lot of great teams on here, including Dawson, including Friendswood, Strake, Side Creek, Manville, Clear Creek. But the game we're focusing on right now, our Big Star Forward game of the week, Katy and Cy Ranch. The Tigers have pitched 5 straight shutouts dating back to early October. They've given up only 18 points total for the season. Yeah, that's
18 points total
for the season.
Woo!
And they've been winning the last few games without some of their studs, including Kyle Porter. Welcome back to the house, as in the end zone. He had a great blocking on that play, by the way.
He didn't even get touched, I don't think.
No defender even close to him. Points to the sky. Welcome back. The 79-yard run and 7-0 Katy. But Cy Ranch made this a ball game. They reached the state championship a year ago. Here's why. They just stuck with it. Colin Rock to R.J. Sneed. 17 yards later, that's a touchdown, and Cy Ranch is in the lead, 13-10. But Katy is Katy for a reason, and they also have a bright future.
Of course.
They don't just have Mr. Porter at running back. They have the true freshman, DeAndre Glass.
14? Well, how old is he? 14 years old?
And he's that good. And he's that fast. Awesome. Nice celebration there. Katy back on top, 17-13. Then some trickeration
this is a heartbreaker
right
right here,
before the
Howard.
half. Dwyer finding Giovanni Stewart, who pitches it back to J.C. Blades.
Don't blitz, Cy Ranch. What are you doing?
Listen to the defensive guru here.
Get back. Protect the end zone. I can't believe Cy Ranch blitzed on that play.
That gave Katy the 24-13 lead. More in the second half from Mr. Dwyer. It's not just the rushing attack. He throws it up top, wide open receiver.
Where'd he
got
go?
Faked out. You got to make sure you defend the run in that situation. So you're easily faked out. Can't really blame Cy Ranch there. But they did score 20. That's 2 more points than any opponents. Every single opponent this year against Katy combined, 59-20. The Tigers move on. So just an impressive effort by the Tigers. Also impressive by Cy Ranch in the defeat because they did score 20 points.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. But they had this game. They had it right where they wanted. Cy Ranch was winning this game middle of the second quarter. Katy came back, scored right before the half on the hook and ladder play. If Cy Ranch just gets back, defends the end zone, they rushed 5 guys on that play, get back, defend the end zone. They don't get that score Katy does right before the half and the momentum going into the second half.
How much can a play like that kind of be a backbreaker?
Well, it can be demoralizing. Now, honestly, Cy Ranch, their first possession in the second half, scored on a touchdown, but that's a heartbreaker to give up those 7 points right before the half when you don't have to.
Well, from a crazy play to a crazy game.
Oh, you got that right, Howard. Dawson taking on Friendswood. Friendswood beating Hightower last week. How about that? That was an impressive win. Can they do it this week? You got Dawson, Zach Smith to Drake Rayner right there, putting Dawson up 7-zip at that point. Zach Smith again. I don't know, defense sleeping right there. Go ahead, guys. What are you guys doing? You think it was a timeout or something? Zach Smith hits Nico Thomas right there, putting up Dawson 14-zip. Feeling pretty good, aren't you, Dawson? Oh, not so fast. Friendswood, Tyler Page, little quarterback keeper right there. That kid is a beast. Comes back to haunt him later. Dawson will find out. Zach Smith hands the ball off to Savion Johnson. Savion Johnson's been a stud for them all season long, right up the gut, blowing guys over right there. Bowling ball, butcher knives right there. And then again, Tyler does it all. Page right there, another quarterback keeper. Keeps Friendswood in this game, keeps them within 7 on that play. But Zach Smith again for Dawson finds Caleb White up along the left-hand side of the sideline right there. I tell you what though, Howard, it is not going to be enough for Dawson. Tyler Page for Friendswood brings them back into this game, gets it into overtime, and then Tyler Page and Friendswood takes this one in overtime, beating Dawson Eagles 49-42, Howard. Impressive win for Friendswood.
Tyler Page, he had a huge game last week against Hightower in their win, where he had about 500 yards, had a huge game here, scored in the final minute to force overtime. How much can the playoffs kind of make a player?
Well, it can make players stars. I mean, this is where stars are born right here in the playoffs. So Tyler Page making a legacy for him right there. You know what? They know that Friendswood's best player is Tyler Page, and they still can't stop him anyway. That tells you how special that kid is.
That was probably the best game of the night. Just a crazy, crazy game. But we have more crazy games coming up next, including CE King, including George Ranch, one of the unbeatens of the area. Tune in up next to see what happens with all of those games after the break. Welcome back to the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. A look at the Class 5A Division I Region 3 brackets, where you see Stratford, Temple, CE King against Foster, Bryan Magnolia West, and Nederland going against George Ranch. We have some of the highlights coming up in just a bit, including right now CE King against Richmond Foster. Foster and both these teams actually been highly impressive this season. Both of them have only 2 losses on the year. First highlight we go is Jonathan Brantley. He's done a good job of protecting the ball this year. Has had 18 touchdowns passing, 12 rushing touchdowns, only 1 interception. Here he is on the keeper, 60-yard scorer. He should be getting more scholarship offers. His first one came last week from McNeese State. That tied the game at 7. And then C.D. Lamb for Foster. This guy has a bunch of scholarship offers. He rips off a 75-yard TD run right here. Let's see who won this game, huh? Let's check the score and the final of this one. The winner is Foster. The Falcons move on over CE King. An impressive win by Foster. Last week they had an impressive win over Elkins. This week against CE King. Falcons get the W, and they will be moving on.
All right, Howard, here we go. Nederland Bulldogs, they're always in the playoffs, taking on George Ranch Longhorns. How does this one shake out here? Quarterback Mitchell LeBaron, short pass to Devin Simmons. Runs for 65 yards. Excuse me, that's Nederland right there. Nice little run there for that kid there. Ties the score at 7-7 at that point. Here we go. 60-yard run by Alex Fontenot. Ooh, Fontenot. Little to the right, to the left. Nice little play there. George Ranch up big at this point. Then here you go. You got a 2-yard TD run here. Dragging guys in there by Darius Anderson. And then quarterback here, Mitchell LeBaron. Michael LeBaron in there for a keeper for 2-yard touchdown run right there. Ooh, this is a big one for George Ranch Longhorns, taking this one 63-30.
More scores from around the region. We check our Sports Radio 610 scoreboards. Stratford, they go down to Temple in a tough one, 14-6. At Magnolia West, they fall to Bryan. The Vikings get the win, 37-21. Now, one player who's done really well, made some big plays to close out the season for Morton Ranch, is Dartavius Dixon. He is our Cavenders Player of the Week. Here's Courtney Madden.
Texan Live is out at Morton Ranch this week to present Dartavius Dixon with the Cavenders Player of the Week. The senior running back is off to a great season so far, but is just short of his season goal.
My goal was to rush for 2,000 yards, but I fell short, so I wasn't able to.
Although he hasn't met his season goal, Dixon's had a great season, entering the week with 1,141 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns.
Picks it up, gets across the 15, has the outside, beat a defender. Across the 30, down the far sideline, skips another guy across the 40. Midfield, inside the 40, outrun one guy left. Across the 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Mavericks.
Well, he plays with his heart, as many of our guys do. He's one of those guys you can always depend on. He works hard at practice, works hard in the weight room. He's made himself into a quality athlete. He's got speed, he's got strength and power, and he's just one of those guys that you are always happy that you got something like.
To the left, I set. Dixon up the middle. He's got room, breaks free, 10-5, touchdown Mavericks.
While Dixon isn't completely content with his personal overall performance this season, he's proud of how far his team has come.
We came a long way since being 1-4 in the preseason and going into the regular season, and we really stepped it up. We won 4 out of our last 5 to get in the playoffs, and like Coach said, we had the opportunity to do something good, but we just fell short.
Athletes may come and go, but Coach Meadows hopes they can fill Dixon's big shoes after he graduates.
Well, I hope we can replace him. You know, he replaced somebody that was an All-American type guy, and now we got another All-American type guy we got to try to replace, and hopefully we can. But, you know, when you're one of the guys that fills the roles that those guys fill, the truth is you never replace them. You just kind of reload and go on. He's been a great example of what we're trying to accomplish with our kids here.
Texan Live came out to Morton Ranch this week to present Dartavius Dixon with the Cavenders Player of the Week. Congratulations.
Dartavius Dixon styling with those glasses. Thank you, Courtney Madden. All right, the road to the UIL Football Championships leads to Energy Stadium here in Houston from December 17th through the 19th. You can get your tickets by logging on to Ticketmaster.com now, and you can watch all the games on the TV home of the UIL Football Championships, Fox Sports Southwest. We'll be right back. You're watching the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. Welcome back to the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. We jump right in this. El Campo against Kilgore. When you think of El Campo, they love to run the ball. 5-yard run from Ernest Arambide makes it 7-0. All season long, Teddy J, 4,000 of their 4,500 total yards on the ground.
Ooh-wee!
That's pretty crazy.
The Big 8 is what I used to play, and that's how we used to do it with that triple option.
Alante Harris with a touchdown there on the 50-yard scamper makes it 14-3. More El Campo and more ground and pound. Kevin Dove, he has about 1,700 yards on the season and 26 rushing TDs. Here he is, 29 yards to the 5. Makes it, eventually the score would make it 21-3 as Arambide, hey, it's a pass, finds Wesley Arambide. I'm guessing they're related. Final score of this one, El Campo, the Ricebirds, they improved to 9-3 on the season. That means their season is still alive after the 31-23 victory.
All right, here we go. Stafford Spartans taking on Carthage Bulldogs. Last week, quarterback Jared Blissett, 24-39, 334 yards. How's he doing this game? Oh, a little double pass to Jared Blissett to Hunter Townsend. Back to Blissett for a 30-yard TD. Wow, what a... They're all looking at each other. Hey, I thought you had him. No, it was you had him. Here we go again. Here you go. You got Stafford driving, but Curtis Robinson. Sack fumble, recovered by Carthage. Gerard Mecklin. Oh, man, this was easy. Carthage wins this one big time, Howard. 34-0 over Stafford Spartans. Congratulations, Carthage.
You know, this is a special playoff edition of this show, and you know, I found myself more active on Twitter, so to speak. I was tweeting back and forth.
Oh man, you're all over Twitter.
Well, the games were crazy. I was even crazier on Twitter tonight, and here's our Twitter specialist, Courtney Madden. What was going on out there?
Well, this is the time of the season where teams are making history and students are making jokes. Let's take a look at what I mean.
Uh-oh. Yeah, uh-oh.
Kristen Cello said, when you're watching Cy Ranch and Katy football game and you hear the girls screaming, it's like a Justin Bieber concert. Houston Mayde 713 said, shout out to Atascocita football for taking it to where we've never been. And FB Playbook said the Manville Mavericks have hit 60-plus points in 7 of their 12 football games this season. And I wonder who this could be. Jordan Stump 2 says, congrats to Atascocita High School football for making it to the 3rd round. My uncle and dad are the best 6A coaches in Texas.
No bias there, of course.
No.
Yeah, definitely no bias.
I'm just guessing his dad is Craig Stump.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
Just a hunch. Congratulations to Coach Stump and Atascocita for making it to the next round, surviving 2 tough games. Crazy plays in all the games. Here are some of the plays of the week.
Down the sideline. Can he beat one man? 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Wildcats. Well. Breaks a hole across the 40. Getting towards the near sideline. One man to beat. He's going to go into the end zone. Touchdown, Mavericks. Wow.
Welcome back to the Houston High School Football Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by TexanDrive.com. My name is Howard Chen. He is Ted Johnson. Now, earlier in the show, we saw some crazy highlights, one of them being Manville. Manville scoring 70 points. Corey Repkin from the Chronicle joined us and he talked about that game. And here is Kirk Martin talking about that game, too. After winning, he is the Manville head coach, joined with Jessica Stevens.
Coach, congratulations on tonight's 2nd playoff win. How do you feel about your team's overall performance tonight?
Just relieved that it's over, you know. I mean, golly, what a high school football game. You know, I didn't know if anybody ever stopped anybody tonight, man. What a football game. Hats off to those guys. Really good football team. They've had a great year. And, you know, our kids, they made the plays they need to make down the stretch offensively, you know, to stop. You know, got a great stop there on defense, 2 interceptions. You know, I just kept telling them, hey, if we just get a couple stops here in the second half, we're going to be fine. Well, I tell you, our offensive line blocked so good tonight. We ran the football really, really well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So what did you say to your team in the locker room for the second half of the game to keep them level-headed?
Well, you know, I just told our kids keep plugging, you know, just keep plugging. Told the defense, hey, guys, y'all got to get us one stop right here. When they come out, they're going to onside kick you. You know, they're going to empty the playbook. They're going to come with all the trick plays. You've got to stay poised and stay on top of it. If we get a couple stops here, we're going to be fine. And we did. And, you know, offensively, you know, hats off to, again, that offensive line. They did just an unbelievable job tonight.
Coach, like you said, it was a great game, very back and forth. How do you think this prepared you guys for your next playoff game?
I hope we don't have any more like this. Dadgum, I tell you, that gives the guys hard a test. You know, really proud of our kids. Played really hard, you know, just explosive offense on the other side that we really had a difficult time with. We got some work to do, no doubt.
Well, congratulations again, Coach.
Dadgum.
Yeah. Both you and I were laughing when Kirk Martin was talking because I think Kirk Martin was very, very honest. What'd you think?
He was relieved. Heck, I mean, it was close. They got 53 points on his Manville defense. He feels lucky to get out of there with a win. So maybe too close than what he wanted it to be when you consider what's the average point of margin of victory for that team has been almost 50 points a game. So good little test for them in the second round of the playoffs.
Some great matchups still to come on Saturday. We check out the matchups. Pearland going against a tough Dickinson team. Westfield, we think that, and both of us, we think they're one of the best in the area. They have a tough game against Lake Travis. And then Crosby against Ridgepoint, another tough game. The Cougars have been playing extremely well, but all 3 games should be extremely good.
Yeah, they're going to be really, really good. You know what? You look forward to next week, Friendswood versus Katy. It's been a great season so far for Friendswood, beating Hightower and Dawson. But I think this is where their season ends. And then Manville versus Strake Jesuit next week. Strake gotten as far as they've ever gotten in the playoffs, so that's great for them, but that's going to be a tough game for them against Manville.
And Katy getting their horses back just in time. Their domination continues. Manville survives the scare as well. That does it for us. Have a good night, everybody.